so happy.
I was too.
I still do that myself.
Well, anyways, my question is for both of you, because I've watched you guys in a lot of roles. Of course, Dean Winchester's my absolute favorite, but I watched Soldier Boy in The Boys, even though The Boys was so hard to watch. As soon as Jensen was announced, I'm like, crap, I have to watch this. So
I told my mom, I'm like, you're gonna want to skip this one, Mom.
That's the one I watched like 7 times. Yeah. I was like, oh, I didn't see that the first time. I don't want to. Let me watch it again.
But even Jeff as Negan and the role he played in The Watchmen, like, I've seen you guys in great fun, dramatic roles, and now in these really creepy, dark roles. I guess I'm just curious of how you guys get in the mindset to make such drastic character changes and do so well with them when you do.
Go ahead, because I'm actually interested in hearing where you found Negan.
Well, for me, it has to start on the page. I think if it's on the page, and Negan in particular was, I had a comic book to go off of, which was super cool. You probably had that with Soldier Boy too. And it does some indication for you. It does a lot of the work for you. I like to say it's just what we fucking do. It's kind of our job. But I shouldn't say that because it's probably a little trickier than that. But if it's on the page, if it's written down and the writer has a good idea, for me, that's where it all starts, and it'll also die there, and it has. John was on the page. John got more interesting when I wasn't on the show. Right?
It's talked about a lot.
Yeah, I mean, shit that I didn't know. As a matter of fact, the first convention I did, I found out all sorts of stuff about John.
People have some heavy opinions about John.
Big opinions.
And you did not know that. You were like, wait, what?
Yeah. Like, I'm in a fight with like 5,000 people, and we're like brawling. I'm like, that's not John. Y'all don't know. And it was like a thing, and it still is occasionally. But it really has to start on the page, and that's why we're lucky to have the Kripkes and the writers that we have, the Kirkmans and Gimbels.
Yeah, there's I would say, because I've never had any formal acting training. I don't think you have either, right?
No.
And it clearly shows.
I know. That's why I can't talk about it. I'm like, I don't fucking know. There's no technique. Just go do it.
I just do it. So I think with that, and I spoke a little bit about this, the meet and greet yesterday, in that, so not having formal techniques that I can rely on, a bag of tricks that I got at school for acting, I have to kind of rely on my own experience or my own observations. And so a lot of what I'll bring to a character is either part of my personality that I just expand upon, or it's inspired by somebody that I know, a friend, or a character in a movie that I once saw, and then I'll kind of blend all that together and try to find what the writer's given me. I will give you this one. Soldier Boy, I asked Kripke, I was like, you want me to read the comic stuff and use that as inspiration? He said no. Because Soldier Boy was quite different. I never did, because I still don't want to change my idea of who this guy is. I have kind of an idea of who he is in my mind, and there were many, but I'd say one of the kind of inspirations that I used was old interviews of Lee Marvin, and that kind of mentality and that kind of speech and the way he kind of like. Not his roles per se, but literally him as an actor. Like, I've watched these old interviews that he gave, and it was just there was an air about him that kind of I used as a bit of my my compass for Soldier Boy, and those kinds of characters, old school, Sean Connery, and I even then got to say I'm gonna slap you like I'm Connery, and it was those things that I think Phil and Kripke were like, yes, that's a good direction, go that route. So, and I just try to use what's available to me.
Thank you.
I fucking love Soldier Boy. I'm just thinking about it now. I'm like, yeah, he's awesome. You did some it was some fun stuff. I love what you did with it.
All right, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you all.